Welcome everyone, it's N55 Morris and we're back with another video. Today we look to install the Snow Performance meth controller. This is the VC-50. Precisely, this is the updated 2026 version with the pressure transducer instead of the pneumatic reference point. So let's jump right into it and wait no longer. So there isn't too much to unbox here. In the box, you just get the controller that we see right here. 3 buttons. Looks very much like the you see the stuff they posted from 2021. That's it. And of course, there is a bracket with kind of clamped down. You guys will see it later in the video with some 2 nuts. However, for boost reference, this does use. I should take this off. This is not. It's not included. Sorry. Because of the pressure transducer, a 5 volt with the 3 wires here. However, this is 1/8 MPT, so I have an adapter, brass adapter that brings it to 1/4 inch basically. So that's all very much the unboxing. I'll jump over to the car and you see how I'm installing it. So here it is in bench test mode basically. You can see the Snow Meth controller is powered on. I just have it directly on the power and the ground strap here. Here's the setup. I just have my rigid air compressor for, I guess, tire inflator. I have it right next to the right inside the pressure tester. So basically, I'm gonna try to prop the phone up for you guys. It's gonna be a little loud, of course, as I turn on the tire inflator, but you'll see the pressure jump and rise to show that the sensor is reading. And as you guys can see there, this is working. You could test the activation for the pump outline. I forget the color, but basically you should see signal. If I put on a multimeter, you'll see that voltage go up. But I believe that, of course, if this controller is working this far, that will work as well. Plus, anyways, we are going to test all the lines. So let's remove it all and get into the installation. So to start with, I have over here already pulled up. This actually goes into the cabin right underneath. Don't have the light. No, the light is in here. So this is for my older meth system. We had some issues, nothing against the company, great guy, but it just did not work for me. I'm keeping most of the harness inside the car in case I do figure it out and do decide to go back. But for now, we're going with the Snow Performance as you saw earlier today. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. A lot of these wires have been preset up. My old controller, the screen display was sitting here off a little magnetic mount. Because of the way the wires come out the Snow Performance, I had to modify a little bit, aka break it a bit, but it's going to sit right here as a little vent clip. So I'm going to run some wires down and around. Right here, I'll drop the screenshot of the wiring diagram of the controller. Once again, today we're just doing the controller. It is quite easy. This is power. As you can see, I tapped the power wire for the other controller, the on-off switch. So I'll be tapping that same way, probably same position to maintain the switch to be able to be used. Of course, off here, I'll have the black as well. Let me jump over to the bench. And with the pressure transducer, you need to tap the manifold. Luckily, I do have the metal manifold. And if those of you don't know, underneath here, there are some bungs and ports. That's basically what this line you kind of see. I know it's kind of dark, but that goes off to a port there. So I'm going to kind of blind shoot it. Maybe I'll put you on the tripod to kind of time lapse it and then at least get this portion in. And then once that portion is in, then of course, from the diagram I showed earlier, wiring it should be easy. I'm going to bring that around, maybe follow these wires here, and that will go, of course, go inside the cabin towards the controller. Okay, here's an update. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the bungs. The bungs kind of sit in a weird angle, and they will hit your fuel pump, especially if you have an upgraded one, just due to the physical footprint of it. However, pivoted and over to here right next to the blow-off valve on my U-pipe. I already have a 1/8 MPT bung when I bought this U-pipe. So I guess lucky me. However, you will see some boost spikes because of course this is basically in the reverse direction before you have blow off air. So after that throttle closes, all the charged air comes back and blows off here. However, you will get then maybe a spike reading right here. That's not the worst thing. It might mess up the fuel trims, that shifts and stuff like that, but drivability wise, my tuner says it is 100% fine. So I ran some loom and extended the 3 wires here. That's what you see these wires here. There are the 3 of them here. 1 and the 2 is still in the double. I have to fish it down. If you guys haven't done it yet, there it is, right in the center. Through there, so I have to get like a coat hanger or something. But that will be into the footwell, and that's where it will go up into the controller. However, for now, since that is done, those 3 wires, you have to run a wire towards the pump. As you see, the pump is back here. It already has a ground wire, which is good, and then a power wire underneath. So I'm just going to, if you ever run a speaker wire for a system forever, you should be okay. I'm just going to run it along this base trim, and then, of course, being a 4-door helps. And then kind of shove it in between that gap right there in the center. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Once again, not that very tedious or overcomplicated, so I won't show anybody, but I'll run that wire now and then show you guys after. You can see here I labeled my line, control it to pump, positive, and very easy. Kind of just tucking underneath the trim as I stated, and work your way to the back. So as you saw, the wire was ran quite easy, especially in these BMWs. I did label my wires because I don't have the luxury of using multiple colors. So controller to pump positive. This is to pump positive. Also labeled this side. Once again, this is for my old controller. If I ever want to reboot it back up, I don't want to re-tear the whole thing out. But if anyone asked, I use these, I guess they call them like solder and shrink wrap at the same time. You strip both sides, and then you slip this over. Slip this over, kind of time together, and make sure this the metal part in the center there is then heated with the heat gun I have right here, and that kind of not only joins them mechanically, but the shrink wrap also does that as well. So I'm going to do that right now, and then this side will be completed. Switching now over to underneath the where the kick plate is. Once again, you can see my controller to pump positive. Anyways, so as for my previous controller, I did install a button. That is the power wire here, and tucked up back here, this black is already ground. So instead of making new connections, I'm going to use these splice taps. These are right here. So all these they go around the wire and they clamp, and they're supposed to pierce the insulation. I don't really trust that, so I like to do where these metal tabs are supposed to go. I like to take the wire and sharp knife and just peel back the insulation just a little bit, and that way these have metal to wire direct connection. And then on the other side, you would just stick the wire in and crimp it down. And once these are closed, I don't want to close it fully, and I have the phone in my hand. Get a good angle for everybody. These are nice because this would then connect like that inside there. So if you ever need to pull it out or do some troubleshooting and testing, you can, other than straight kind of doing like this where you can't really test. But however, these are more surefire connections, so that's not a big deal. Kind of hard to get angles in here, so I apologize. But I told you guys what I'm going to do, so that's what I'll tackle and show you guys with the splice connections on thereafter. We are finally getting somewhere. We see the controller is finally in the car. Just somewhat hanging back up in here. So as stated before, I've had the power wire tap as well as the ground wire back there. So I have the power button right here on the off position. So with the key on, this should not power up, not just yet. But if I hit the on switch, as you can see, it turns on. So our connections are good. Let's continue to power on. So as we see, we got power, we got ground, we got a line ready from the pump, as well as stated, 3 lines from the pressure transducer. One thing we are missing, is the solenoid. So the solenoid goes 1 to ground, which 1 already does, so that is great. And then 1 is ran already from the previous controller. So I believe that wire is this wire here. So I'm going to try to intercept that wire in the underneath where the kick plate is. And remember, that wire goes to the same wire that goes to the pump. So basically when the pump gets voltage to turn on, the solenoid down here, it's all at the back behind the pressure gauge will turn on as well. So that way, line will have 3 lines. So I believe that is the green wire. Green goes to solenoid, either or. Once again, it's positive, negative, it doesn't matter. And the power positive to the pump. So the solenoid is good now in the engine bay. And lastly, I have the pressure sensor wires. So like the pressure sensor, I have white, red, and the blank is the black one. I didn't have a black cable. So I'm going to trim them down and then connect them probably right here to the controller. Once again, here's a screenshot again of where they all connect to. I'll probably put you guys on tripod for once. I know interior installs aren't my favorite. It's kind of hard to get good angles, but at least this way you guys get to see me cut, splice, and use little connectors here. So I throw in the tripod on the time lapse. So as you see, we've been giving it all night. We have the snow performance controller there. Last time I just had it ran around there. It was a lot cleaner, a lot easier, but as you see, I loomed up the wires, just trying to make it a little more OEM plus, but then of course gives me kind of a weird situation here. Regardless, I already have the button on down there, so when I hit on, this should boot up. Nope, I do not got power, so let me do some quick troubleshooting and see what is up there. All good, just the ground connection was not all good, but here it is. You can see that this is working well. I'm not gonna hit purge because the engine is not running, but this is the install of the Snow Performance controller. With the engine running, as you can see, let me change to a nice color. Sure. You hit P and purge, and that would kick everything on. However, the engine's not running, as I said, and as well as I have all the nozzles and whatnot connected. So I do not want to fill the system filled with water methanol right now. But yes, that is the install of the Snow Performance Methanol VC50 controller with the pressure transducer. It is quite involved, however, it's not very difficult. On a rating of 1 to 10, I'll probably give this a 4. Like I said, it's tedious, making sure your wire connections are good, as you can see at the very end. But I'm hoping that I could get some good clean logs. I'll probably do a purge once the engine's running, probably tomorrow. And yeah, so thank you for sticking with me. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys on the next one.